Hey guys, welcome to my live stream. Just setting up the camera here, trying to make sure that it's charging. Otherwise, it would eventually run out of battery. But welcome to my live stream. Welcome to my Cactus live stream. Hey, good morning. Great to see you. Hope you're having a good weekend. Yeah, I'm back. Great to be back. Have a lot of different stuff that I want to do today again. So yeah, thank you for being here. Also to everyone else that's coming, that's watching the stream later. Have a lot of stuff today. Good stuff. Check out what I brought. This is the pumice. This is the washed pumice that I brought from outside. It was almost frozen, but just almost. So now we have a little bit of pumice here. I brought this so we can maybe spread it a little bit all around the seedlings. Not really want to do a full cover layer, but a little bit. Hey, good morning. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. Yeah. So maybe later we will lay out a little bit of the pumice around the cactus seedlings. That will protect them a little bit more from fungus gnats. And it will give them a little bit more protection from dehydrating too fast. So yeah, apart from that, a lot of watering again today. I want to repot. I have chili again here. Let me show them. And I want to put these in a bigger pot. I looked into what I have, and unfortunately, I really only have this. I have this or something that is obscenely big. So I guess we will have to use this until I have a bigger size again. I had 3 or 4 that were a little bit in between, and I've used those up within just a few days. So we will repot the chili into this. It gives them maybe 3 weeks. I don't know, not much longer. I'm sure they will be root bound very fast again. So I want to organize new pots now. And the moment they are there, we can then repot them again. But yeah, these are the chilies. Oh, by the way, just want to show you the flyers. The flyers are here for the live stream, for the channel. I'm very proud. Got to show you the Snoopy on the right side. Yeah, very happy that I now have flyers. Very basic. It looks a little bit like a child made it, but it's made with love, and that's what I like about it. Yeah, I have new labels, new plant labels for today. I'm so happy that I finally got the ones that I wanted. You can write better on these. It's not super easy, like there's still some sort of a coating, but it works better, and we will use these later. I also consider moving some of the seedlings that are doing poorly into washed pumice. Let me bring it in again. So this is the medium, little particles of pumice. Particle size something like 0 to 0.4 centimeters. Really small, that the little cactus seedlings can grow into that thing, into that medium with the little roots that they have. If the particle size is too big, the little cactus seedlings have a really hard time growing into the medium. So yeah, we will use that later. And I brought let me show you the pumpkin. I brought the pumpkin here that we have grown on the live stream so far. And to my horror, I have seen that a second pumpkin seedling has germinated too. So now we don't only have 1 pumpkin, but 2. We will see how it goes. Want to repot that too very soon, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. But I'm starting to get a little bit scared from the pumpkin, that it will become such a big plant that it will be hard to control. But I will do my best. For now, this is it. Check it out. I want to show that to you a little bit closer. These would be better grown in the garden probably, but now it's a little bit too cold, I'm sure. And yep, I will grow it inside until we reach our limit. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Great to see you. Spotty. I have a hard time kind of imagining what that is because of the language barrier. Spotty star. I will have to look that up. Monkey tail. The Hildewinterer flowers, they often have that beautiful little roll. It's called corolle at the flower. Somewhere, like, it looks like a little roundish, I don't know how to call it, a roundish thing of petals. And it is specifically evolved on some of those plants, on a lot of plants in the genus Cactus now. They have that kind of trait, and it's a beautiful thing. But I'm not sure if it's that what you mean. Would love to see if you ever post it somewhere. Let me know, and I will have a look. So yeah, I want to water today again. Last 2 days I've been watering much more compared to previously. They were just, I could see that some of them were dehydrating. So, and when I picked that up, I instantly start doubling the water. And that's what I did. Hey, that's great. Greetings to Australia. Always happy when my Australian friends are here. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, I consider growing some Australian plants on the live stream too. I wanted to grow maybe a few eucalyptus trees, nothing for outside, just to grow them a little as a tree because I like them. There's some amazing plants in Australia, and I'm constantly looking around to see what we could actually grow here. So yeah, might be something from Australia in the future of the live stream. Yeah, and apart from that, also a lot of hybrids that I have in my collection. So sooner or later, we would see something that was from an Australian breeder. Yeah, that's great. Great. I would love to have that. Like, Australian climate is great for that. But yeah, you can choose. Unfortunately, I have to make it work here. Okay, yeah, let me get started. I want to repot a little. So let's get, I brought this tub here just so I can put in the used up soil. Just looking for my gloves that I brought. Okay, here. Yeah, and then we will start repotting one of the chili. Think it's time. They must be root bound already. Maybe not completely, but I'm sure 1 or 2 roots have already reached the bottom of the pot. So let's have a look. Okay. Yeah, and with that pumpkin, we have to repot that. You can already see that the root is coming out. I wasn't really sure what to do with the pumpkin. I've sown them out, but it's like I'm really giving it a critical look because I feel like this could become a huge thing, like a huge plant. So we will see how we can grow that inside. Yeah, some really cool plants. I mean, trying to find something good, maybe something like a fruit tree, something like that, something that would fit the live stream. There's some incredibly beautiful acacia species too, but that is a little bit, already coming into the terrain where it could get difficult with YouTube. So I'm just looking at plants that are really, really, fun plants to grow. Maybe a fun brush, a fruit brush, a fruit brush. Yeah. Shrubs, a fruit shrub or something like that. I will look into that. I've heard that, I know about the trees, something like that, but I have to look them up. Every plant that I consider, I really need to look into and how they are grown. But something like that, I'm sure I can find something within the next couple of months. I've already been talking with a few Australian friends about that, you know. But yeah, looking for something that, I don't know, that maybe has a chance to survive in the temperature and the climate that I have here, and it's not so easy. Some of the eucalyptus trees really can really take it, can take a little frost, and that would be great. I've had seeds of them like that I once got in a, like when I got a collection of old seeds. I had a few eucalyptus trees, but they weren't viable anymore. Yeah, I wouldn't want to plant them out, you know, because they can cause problems with fire, forest fire, that kind of stuff. But still, cool plants to grow. Okay, yeah, and I also have to look at all the regulations, everything that we grow. I don't want to grow something that is threatened, where there's like, you know, just trying to grow common stuff. That will be fun. That will be fun on the live stream. I will look into it. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I want to water that a little, just to keep it from becoming a huge dusty mess. I will fill up the pot here. This is sowing soil that I'm filling in. And I have a big pot of soil that I have here. This is going to be messy. Let me just, I think I need to move a little bit of the stuff away here, that I can put that soil pot on the desk. I can put that here. No. Put that down. We're taking this here. Okay. So yeah, just filling that up. Bringing the pot makes it a little easier when it's so much. I don't want to put in like 30 different tiny pots here like this. Digging it in slowly. Okay. So this should already be decent. This should already work. We will see how big the root section is. I will put this aside here. I have way too many different things here. This is going to be, at one point, this is going to collapse. Okay. So let's have a look at the roots. Yeah, I don't think it's completely root bound yet, but it definitely has reached the lower area of the pot. Always trying to press against the outside of the pot to get it, to shake it loose, but without breaking everything apart inside. But this is pretty firm. Okay, now check it out. Definitely root bound. These grow pretty fast. Okay. Yeah, and I will fill up with a little bit of soil here and there now. I also found the label. We'll have a look at that later. Just want to get that into the soil a little bit. And I'm sure we have to repot it very soon again. That's great. I'm not sure what kind of a fruit it is, but I will also look that up. I'm not really very experienced with all kinds of vegetables. That's a completely new world for me. And I really enjoy that. You know, when you can start with something entirely new. It's also a great chance to kind of reevaluate what you want to do in life and what direction you want to go. Don't have to have 3 greenhouses full of cacti. I can also have a few vegetables here and there, you know? And I realized that. Okay. Yeah, the one thing that I really that isn't great, it's that pressed soil pad that we used to sow out in the beginning. That always stays there, and it's kind of hard to get rid of it. I assume we could maybe open it up You know, one of these. You always have that somehow having a different kind of consistency in the pot compared to the soil. I'm trying to flatten it up a little bit that it doesn't always stand out like this. Maybe next time we're potting it a little deeper. I was just worried because this isn't a very tall plant. But okay, so let's have a look at the label. Want to know what that is. Oh, these labels. I need to write a new one here. And I hope that I can still decipher what is written there. This was a batch of labels. Every time I wrote on it, within short time, the writing dissolved again. Was like a label that wasn't made to be a plant label. Oh, man. So this is... oh, by the way, I was informed, like yesterday in the live stream, I have called it California Reaper, and that is that chili cultivar. I have called it California Reaper, and I think it is Carolina Reaper. I think I was informed about that this morning, so I just wanted to correct that. Yeah, the problem is sometimes some of the pesticides dissolve, like the fine liner, text marker kind of writing. Usually a pencil is the best thing, in my opinion, like the most resistant. Maybe aside from really well-made labels, you know, that you print and all. But yeah, in this case, the pencil just dissolved again. I'm not sure why. I haven't had that. It has some sort of a coating that makes it hard to write on it. But yeah, this is Carolina Reaper Chocolate. That's the cultivar here. So let me maybe write a new label before that one becomes completely unreadable. And these are the new ones, by the way. And okay. We will see how I can write on them long term. If not, I will get me a printer, something like that. I'm starting to really consider getting me a label printer now. This sucks. It's also not good. Carolina Reaper. Chocolate. Whatever that means. I assume it's probably cultivar with brown fruit. But who knows? Okay, so I want to spray that a little. Just a little bit of water for one to clean up what like all the mess that I did now. Yeah, but let me take it out of that thing. This is just for the soil. Otherwise it becomes a swamp. This is the bin for watering. I have so much equipment here. Everywhere around me. There's just too much stuff to do. Okay. Tonight we had actual frost. It was a super cold night. I had covered a lot of plants. Hope I haven't forgotten any. But tonight the temperature was so cold that you can really lose plants. And I had to move a few out of the greenhouse so I can get in. And yeah, I have those covered up with tarp. And from what I can see, it was okay. It was just 1 or 2 degrees below zero. Yeah, but that can be enough if they are freezing. You know, if they're close to the soil, frozen solid can really be too much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, yeah, so this is Carolina Reaper Chocolate. I'll bring that in sometime soon. This is a plant that I got just as seeds. Got 10 different cultivars. I'm not sure, from a breeder probably. On eBay. Yeah. And for now, they're looking good. I thought about sowing out more now, like from the others. Seriously consider doing that. I might still have 3 or 4 that we haven't sown out. Okay, so I just want to put that aside here. Okay. Yeah, what else? I wanted to show you the strawberries, the white strawberries, because I was unhappy with them. I wanted to just bring them in to complain about them. So let me get them, okay? So here's the white strawberries, and absolutely nothing has happened since they have germinated. They're growing very slow. Check it out. So these are white strawberries. I don't want to keep them out so long because of the fungus gnat, but this is how they look now. Not much has grown here. Maybe 3 weeks by now. Yeah, and for now, I just hope that they will eventually grow into healthy plants. I can see that there are springtails in the soil, and that is not a huge issue. Like, not everything that moves in soil is a huge issue. Like, there are always these microscopically small insects, things that are not a direct pest. There are just a few things you really need to be careful about. One of them being fungus gnats, maybe mealybug, you know. But springtails, when I see them, I don't even care. I hope they have a great time in the soil. They are often just, you know, soil is alive sometimes, and it's not a bad thing. Okay, but yeah, these have barely grown, so I'm not sure. The way they are growing outside, like they are everywhere here in the area, not the white ones, but the classic forest strawberries, and I felt like they must grow faster. Okay, so let's continue to water. I have a lot of seedlings that need water today, and during that, when we're doing that, we are also spraying, like laying out a little bit of pumice around the seedlings now. So let me just water first. This is Teleflora. This is a hybrid between Sorensia telegona and Echinopsis irisi grandiflora. The mother, Teleflora, has these big pinkish flowers, really nice, like coming from Sorensia telegona. It's that species has passed down the big flower. The color comes a little bit from the father, like I said, pinkish. And that Echinopsis irisi grandiflora has a nice pink sepal, you know, really nice kind of plant. And very often when you make crosses with it, the outcome is pinkish. So in this case, I tried to take that pinkish hybrid and get more color into it. So we will see how that goes. This is the first generation offspring here, with a different parent, Bamboy or something like that. You know, I made a few different ones that year. And for now, they are growing. I'm happy with them. I'm very proud that they continue to grow. With Teleflora, it's a type of hybrid where you can have quite a lot of unhealthy seedlings, unhealthy offspring, and the fact that they're growing is good. So I just want to water them a little bit now. Have the water sprayer beside me. And now I will spray them a little bit. This will take a while. I want the water to sink in, to settle in. Okay. I consider moving them very soon, but for now I feel like they look pretty okay in that soil. They're growing, and they are not that big yet. This is almost 3 months old, or even older by now. And for that, some of the seedlings aren't that big. They are a little bit delayed in regards to the speed, to the growth speed. So yeah, I think we will keep them in there, but maybe we can get a bunch of pumice to spray around. So let me get my, where's that spoon? Okay, this is pumice. Just the pumice. I would just try to get it, to place it a little bit on the side of the seedlings. And it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just a little bit to add protection. I want to keep the seedlings a little bit protected from any kind of pest. This is okay. Check it out. So the soil below is very organic, so they have time to take in the water, but it's a little bit protected now. You can also grow in mineral, just in pumice, but in my opinion, they grow faster in a more organic soil. You just have to, you can't make the classic mistakes. And this here, this is pretty good. This will really, for one, it will keep the area somewhat free of weeds. This gives the seedlings a little bit of extra protection, especially if they are so small that they tend to dehydrate. Yeah, okay. So next one, these here, I've just repotted them. So in the beginning, in the first 2-3 weeks, these will have to sink in the new soil. You can already see this is not fully done yet. In the beginning, after repotting, a lot of the soil will move slowly over time when you're spraying. Every time you're spraying, a little bit of soil sinks down in the pot. You lose a little bit at the bottom at the drainage holes. And if you are watering them for a couple of weeks, then they will eventually settle in the new pot. That is something that doesn't happen automatically. You can't put the seedlings in new soil and expect them to be perfectly all right. Sometimes you have to be very careful about placing them in the soil the right way. They have to have connection. And sometimes it's not enough to just place the seedling on top of the soil. So yeah, I will water them again, and then I will have a closer look at some of the seedlings in there. I've seen one where I suspect that the root might be damaged. I'm not keeping it around if that's the case. Yeah. Over here, I have a few seedlings that really don't do well in the organic soil, and I want to move these into a more mineral medium. Not sure if we can do it today, but it will be done within the next couple of weeks. There are certain plants that need a little bit more mineral kind of medium, a little bit more stone-based kind of medium. Trying to do most of what I do here in a very basic sowing soil, but there are always these moments when you need a different kind of medium. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Sure, great to have you around. Always open for questions and that kind of stuff. So yeah, oops. I will spray them again a little bit, and then I'll bring them up so we can have a look also. There are a few seedlings where I feel like the root system isn't all right. We have to really take something out here. And this is one of the containers where I also want to place pumice. This will be good for that. Also, it helps the soil to settle down a little bit. So here's a seedling that I want to correct here. That it's in the soil. It has connection, but not really. Yeah, right. I remember that. Yeah? I don't think so. Very unlikely, especially since that was after my time where I was watching it, you know? But yeah, I remember that you asked. Okay, so I will continue to move the seedlings while you are typing, okay? Oh, I'm listening, just doing the moving of the seedlings also here in the meantime. Yeah, some of the seedlings need to be corrected, need to be placed a little bit more deeper in the soil, that kind of stuff. Okay. All right, so I will spray them now. Yeah, I remember reading about that afterwards, like the you know, the person who portrayed him, Mick Foley, I think. Yeah, interesting person. I've read about that just recently, not that long ago. I'm basically in the last years, I'm basically catching up on all that that happened afterwards. You know, I'm not involved. I'm not really emotionally involved in any way. It's just something that out of interest, what happened to the industry and who became the people that came after the 80s and 90s. You know, like that original wave of wrestlers that were so successful at the time. Okay. So watering again here. And then I will have another look because I feel like there might be a few seedlings here and there that might be where we might have to move. Yeah, I've heard. I don't recall what it was, but I think I've read good stuff about him being a good person and that kind of thing, like behind the character that he was portraying. So yeah, that's what I read about him. Seen a few videos. I think I've seen like an episode of like where they are trying to find forgotten stuff from back then. You know, like the robes and the kind of personal equipment that the wrestlers had. I've seen him in one of those, I think. Yeah, and it was also just recently, just out of curiosity. Okay. Yeah, so these need to be watered heavily in the next days. I will try to water them more. Feel like these are dehydrating. Let's put a little bit of pumice around them. Feel like that should be good here. For one, it kind of keeps the soil from drying out completely, and that can be dangerous. But right now, I will just make sure that the soil is dry, that everything is dry. If that was outside, I wouldn't want to have it. If this was were seedlings that I have outside, I would not want to have that much of a topping layer. I say that every time because topping layer is dangerous, and a lot of the people that read about that, they only find out later when they realize that they have misjudged the moisture in the soil below the topping layer. And sometimes you look there and the roots are completely rotten, and that's why I try to avoid it. Yeah, exactly. That's the one, I think. I've seen that. I really like that. Okay. I feel like with the pumice on top, this also looks better. Check it out. Like it right now, it's still dripping, still dripping water out of it, but I feel like the pumice really kind of keeps the seedlings a little bit away from the soil. I'm sure this will turn out to be a positive additive to the channel. But we're doing it like that now. Okay, these here also need water, and I also want to maybe lay out a little bit of pumice. With pumice, I'm always careful. I don't want to have it lying around everywhere. So I put something below here, I guess, if I can fit it in. No. Let's see. Pumice has the tendency to fall everywhere. It often falls out of the pots, out of the little pots at the bottom, and then you have it. You find it years later. You will still find pumice, and I don't like that. Okay. So most of them here look okay, look all right, but there are one or two that I want to move a little bit deeper into the soil, just to give them a little bit better connection and everything. Here's a seedling that is lying on the side. I definitely want to fix that. And when we're done, then I will lay out a few pumice pebbles all around the seedlings, like in the others. I'm doing that because I really want to give the seedlings a little bit more time to take in the water. I don't want them to dehydrate when I forget to water them for maybe a few hours, you know? Okay. So now I will get a little bit of pumice. Just like a little bit like baking. Like when you're putting the sprinkles on top of the cookie. Pumice is really a good mineral for growing, but it's also a bad mineral for inhaling. So I would recommend you try to minimize exposure. I was born in Saarland, Germany. Like in between Germany and France. Okay, so this is it now. Feel like this is looking pretty good. This will keep the seedlings away from the soil. It's a little bit more mineral, but it's the, like, I can still tolerate that. Okay. Same here. I want to water them. These have been repotted just recently, and now they need to be corrected a little bit. Just a little touch here and there to keep them away from the soil, and to do that even more. I will also add a little bit of pumice here. The pumice is not necessary, but it's something that you can do if you know how to water. Because there's always, like, there will always be situations when you don't see exactly how much water is in the soil, and that is the type of stuff that you need to watch out for. Sometimes they dehydrate below those pumice pebbles, and sometimes they are overwatered. Not really, no. There's some, like, you know, every time, like, they are selling these cactus fruits. I'm sure I've eaten a few cactus fruits, but not cacti. I really like to grow them, you know. They have beautiful flowers, and it would be such a waste to grow such a beautiful plant and then, you know, waste it like that. So no, actually not, but there are a few different cacti that you can definitely eat. Like, I've seen big cactus nurseries do evenings where they have, I don't know what it was, Cactus, something like that, or some opuntia pads are edible, I think, but it's nothing for me. I don't really like. I have the diet of a teenager, of a 16-year-old teenager. Okay. that's also why I'm growing the vegetables and all that stuff. It will remind me to always eat healthy. I want to try everything that I grow, and that will be fun. That will be a fun way to also have a good kind of range of vegetables available every year. Want to do more of that. Okay. Yeah, so the soil is now watered enough that I can just push the seedlings into it. Yeah, and then I will spread a little bit of the pumice around those two. But first, here's a seedling that is totally crooked, barely touching the soil. I tried to push it deeper into the soil here. Okay. Some of the smaller ones worry me. Always picking them up now when they don't grow, when I feel like they have barely grown. Yeah, it's a really rewarding hobby. It's a great feeling when you can just say, okay, this year I want to try this and that kind of new vegetable or new cultivar. There's such a wide range of different cultivars that you can buy. Yeah, and that's a great thing about it. I enjoy that. Here's really a very small seedling, very delayed. I'm not sure if I want to bring that into the new container. Probably not. Here the seedlings need to be corrected. I've realized that they are not in the soil fully. Been leaning over too much. Here's a piece of wood that I want to take out just because it's too close to a seedling. Where's the trash can? That's a funny sounding name. I have no idea what it means, but I'm glad for you. Is that the area where you live or what? Like Picasso? I haven't heard that before. Maybe I'm just like, when I was in school, I completely failed when it was about geography. Reading maps was something that I couldn't do. I had a long way to come, and I've learned a lot, but not everything yet. Took me a while to get better at reading a map, understanding where the countries are and all that stuff. I still have a lot of gray areas in between. Fog of war. So yeah, want to spray a little bit here. And then I will move the remaining seedlings a little bit deeper again. When you're watering, eventually there will come a point when they really start to become loose. And yeah, I will take this one out. This is just a weak looking seedling. I don't want to keep it around. Yeah, and the other two, they look okay, despite the fact that they have been falling over all the time. The others will stay in. They will get a chance. When they are already so old like they are now, this is already 3 months old, they should be bigger. I understand. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the rainforest too. So many interesting plants, and we don't even know all of them. That's what always fascinated me, and always wanted me to become active to protect that kind of thing. That diversity that they have there in the rainforest. Really nice. That's what I would do if I had a lot of money. Just buy a lot of natural rainforest and let it be the way it is. Okay. So I think I'm done here. This is okay. This is enough. I have not been to the rainforest. I have not been to the rainforest. That kind of with my health issues today, I would not get far. I would not get far in the rainforest. I would be like Werner Herzog when he's talking about the jungle. That would be me. That's my impression of the rainforest too. I'm not really doing a lot of traveling anymore. Like since having I've had quite a lot of health issues from having a few tick bites, and it really screwed me up. So now I'm not traveling. Very much not traveling anymore. That's a great way to see it, you know. I like today I'm very unhappy with how little regard politics has to protect nature, and I just hope that people in the future will be better, will do it better in a better way, that has more an eye on also on nature, on the diversity, on all the species that we are currently losing. We are losing them because we have taken the space, and yeah, I hope that in the future they will have that on their radar a lot more than today. That's why today I'm very disappointed with politics, because that those kind of things often don't play a role right now. It's all about money, you know, and that is the kind of stuff. Like a healthy nature is something that is you can't pay with, like it's irreplaceable. You can't weigh it in money, you know, you can't weigh it up in money. So yeah. Okay. So these here are also seedlings that I have repotted recently, and I want to water them now. Just giving them a little bit of water, and I will water them a few times. Soil looks relatively dry, and also the seedlings, you can really see when they are starting to dehydrate. So now it's time to water them, and that will take a while. Really have to wait until everything is settled in, and then I would spray them again, and then I will put up a little bit of the pumice. Will be a nice little top layer that stays clean. Also, this keeps the top layer clean. I like it. I don't like growing in minerals, like in pure minerals, but this is okay. Okay. Some people use sand, like they sprinkle sand around the seedlings, and that will work too. It's not absolutely necessary. You can do it without, but this is just the kind of stuff that keeps the top layer healthy. It helps you. Here's a seedling where I realized it's just resting on top of the soil without actually being in the soil. And I will try to get that a little bit deeper into the soil again. Sometimes when you have a crooked seedling, the soil just comes out at the other end. So you have to really dig it in. This will go a little deeper now. A few millimeters deeper into the soil now. So here's a piece of wood that I want to take out. Okay. Yeah, and I'm trying to move the seedlings a little bit to see if the root system is okay. Wiggling around a little bit I want to see if the root is failing or not. Sometimes you can't really see it, but if you move the seedling just a little bit, you can instantly notice that there's no firm cell wall anymore. But these are okay. These are all okay. Not perfectly in the soil sometimes, you know, a little bit crooked here and there, leaning over. Here, this needs to be a little deeper. Okay. So now I want to water, then we will put a little bit of pumice on top of that thing, and it will go to the lamp. I will try. I will definitely try. We will see what plants I can grow, you know. Always trying to find good stuff that we can grow on the live stream. Interesting plants. family friendly kind of stuff, you know how it is. But yeah, I always wanted to grow tropical trees, like, because the climate that I had was always cold. Like in winter, the temperature was sometimes minus 20 Celsius. That's really cold. And so I always wanted to grow trees that would not survive in my climate. And they would definitely not survive inside. Today, I would be able to keep them alive, to even get them to thrive. But like, there's always the boundary that I can't plant them out, I always regretted that. There's some cool plants that I would grow if they would make it through the winter. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. So I'm just putting a little bit of pumice all around the seedlings again. Not much, just a little bit. Okay. It's a little bit more than I need, but it will eventually also settle down. I don't want to start with the top layer again, but it's just something that you need to be careful with. So let's water it. And then when everything has kind of settled, sunken into place, then I would see if the seedlings are really above the pumice or not. That's amazing. Sounds great. I love moss, and I love all kinds of different mushrooms. There's so many cool ones. I'm a big fan. Number one fan. Okay. So yeah, I'm spreading out the pumice a little bit here, just trying to find the seedlings that are a little bit covered by it. I want to avoid that there's seedling below that is covered, that is rotting. But this looks okay. Yeah, and this will just keep the fungus gnats, that it will make them a little bit unhappy. They will come there and will feel like, oh no, what's this? Where's the food? Buffet is closed. So yeah. These here also want to water them. These have been repotted just recently. So adding a little bit of pumice will be good. And also we might have to wiggle a little to get it in between, because there are so many in that thing. Want to water everything now because the soil is bone dry. This should have been watered already today. But yeah, you can't always, I'm constantly watering. It's just something that you are never fully done. You're always watering. There's always the next time, just waiting a few hours in the future. I love horror movies. I'm a big fan. I usually spend like Halloween lasts 2 or 3 months for me. Like I already start with Halloween in September. Then I already watch all the horror movies I always watch. I watch the same every year. I watch the Halloween movies and that kind of stuff, Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday 13th. I watch them all, But yeah, I'm not watching that many movies anymore. Right now, the last one that I've seen was Sinners, and I really liked it. It was a great movie. Yeah, it was a little overhyped with the Oscars, but it was a beautifully shot movie. I loved Sinners. Blood and Sinners is, I think, how they retitled it, and that was a great movie. Superb soundtrack. Haven't seen so many good horror movies lately. Would love to see something good again. I think the last one that really impressed me was It Follows. I really liked It Follows. Was one of the best movies that I've seen. And not a big budget. I love when a skilled director does horror well with just a few million, a relatively affordable budget. Thank you. I consider it. Maybe one day. I like I said earlier, I don't really travel a lot due to my health situation, but who knows? If my life gets a little easier, I might actually come. I've been introduced a few times to a few, like when they have events, and I would actually show. If I'm in the area, I would show. So I won't rule it out. It's just I really also like to be in the garden. Like being on the road, I'm not the type of man for that. I don't enjoy being on the road. I like having a home, where I have all my stuff. I will look into that. I have no idea. I haven't seen a lot lately. So if these are the most recent movies, I will look into it. I watch maybe 1 or 2 movies right now a year. It's just so hard to stay there and really focus for 2 hours because there's constantly something that requires my attention, like with the pets and all, like that you can sit there still for 2 hours. In my life right now, it's not happening often. Usually very late in the evening, and then I'm often too tired to really follow a movie. But yeah, I recently also seen one by the director that made Barbarian. That director made an amazing different movie recently too. I've seen that one too. Yeah, it's just nice to watch. Like, for one, it was a simple time when these movies came out. Things were a little bit simpler. So I sometimes just watch the old movies from my childhood, because of fun, out of fun, Reminds me of the safer years where I didn't have all so much responsibility that I have today. But yeah, I still celebrate Halloween every year, at least 2 or 3 months. For me, like, Halloween ends and then it's already Christmas. Like the whole Halloween season goes until before Christmas, shortly before Christmas. That's when Halloween ends in my house. Okay, so I will try to place a little bit of pumice around. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not really I'm not saying the title on the live stream. I don't want to have too much horror on the live stream. But yeah, good movies, well done, good directors. Okay, so I will try to get a little bit of pumice around here. So in between the seedlings. And this will be a little more difficult because these are so close together. I would try to... Yeah, that's a beautiful kind of holiday. I like that too. It's a beautiful holiday. Great way to honor the relatives, the ancestors. I really like that about that culture. Really nice. Okay. And also, every time I think about it, I think about that amazingly done movie that I've seen about that should have gotten the Oscar. I think I'm not sure which one it was, or it got the Oscar even. Like about Dia de los Muertos, like that. How was that movie called? Like with that beautiful soundtrack that also, I think it won an Oscar, if I remember correctly, and it was a beautiful movie. So yeah, okay. So I've tried to spread that out a little bit. So I will water them and hope that some of that will sink down now. Yeah, a lot of beautiful, like I like Ireland too. Really nice medieval look. I like that. Really nice place. Yeah, Coco, exactly. That was the movie. I really liked that movie. It was beautifully done with a good soundtrack. I'm not really watching a lot of animation, but of all the animation that I've seen, that was one of my favorite ones. And yeah, really nice way to do a movie about that holiday. Okay. So this will take a while, I think. The pumice will eventually settle down here. Have a little bit of a top layer now. Check it out. But it will eventually settle down. And then it will look a little bit similar to this here, where you have the seedlings sticking out, just surrounded by a little bit of pumice. I want to have that. Okay, yeah, next one. Here these. Also, want to lay out a little bit of pumice here and correct some of the seedlings. This is just repotted recently. So I want to water, and then we will look into the root situation. If there are unhealthy roots, I want to see it. Yeah, they could really turn that into a franchise. But yeah, it's kind of hard to do that and still keep the same kind of quality from the movie. But they definitely could. I like that world that they were showing in that movie. Okay, so let me see here. This is bad. We have to take out this seedling here. Maybe we can take the tip off. The tip has an infection. So I just want to... Oh, I have no knife here. I had a little fruit thing, a little fruit cutter to remove that. But I don't have it here. I will bring it later. I will do that later. But later I will take the tip off the seedling, just removing the infection. We will definitely do more of that in the future. It's not something that we will only do once. Okay, so a little bit more water, and then I will start pushing the seedlings into the soil here. And when I'm done with that, a little bit of pumice, and then everything should stand. Some of the seedlings are a little bit too close to the soil, too deep in the soil. Here, this needs to be removed. Looks unhealthy. This looks unhealthy. Okay. This looks unhealthy. I'm cleaning up. I'm checking out everything that doesn't look healthy. Because I want to have, like, if there's a weak seedling, I'd rather have it out. If the root section is not okay, it will probably not make it anyway. In the future, the covering of the top soil level will avoid issues with fungus gnats. It will greatly reduce it. They can still be there, they can still get below, but it makes it so much harder. Also because they have a hard time living on minerals. That's why people kind of like to spread a little bit of sand on the top layer. The sand is so sharp in structure that a lot of pests can't handle it. Okay. So this is already a little bit better. That will keep the seedlings away from the soil. When you have that kind of a top layer, they are less likely to just press on the very organic soil. I just want them to touch the soil with the root. What are shows you grew up watching? I grew up with The Sopranos. That's how I learned English, watching Sopranos, The Simpsons. Yeah, that kind of stuff. The Wire, I always started but never finished. I only recently finished The Wire, but it was always a show that had accompanied me through my life. Yeah, Sopranos being the main show of my life. There were a lot of similarities in my life, and like I've had like my grandmother was very similar to the mother of Tony, like being really, I don't know, having a lot of problems, you know, always saying, I wish the Lord would take me now. That's what, you know, that kind of stuff. I've had that. I've seen that, you know. So when I was watching The Sopranos, I saw a large part of stuff that I had that I've seen in my childhood too. So I always instantly felt connected to it. Okay. So I want to spray these a little bit, just spreading out on top of the soil. Let's do it first now, and then we will see if that maybe kind of, if we can still move the seedlings into the soil, you know? Because we might have to push them a little deeper. So I'm just experimenting a little bit. Right now, I'm leaning towards doing the pumice last, but I wanted to try it out now. Always got to test your workflow. And if there's a better way to do it differently. Okay, yeah. But I really like how the pumice looks like on top of this here. This looks much better than if you just look at a pot. Yeah. Sometimes it can pay off to bring a few minerals here and there. But I really don't want to overdo it. I don't want to have the mineral soil anymore. I'm tired of it. I've constantly walking around on pumice like it's really getting everywhere. It's like with perlite. Perlite's also so light that it's easily blown out of pots, and the same is true with pumice. Okay, so these here, I would say we will also place a little bit of pumice around them. And then I would spray them. Really trying to have an even distribution. Okay. Yeah, there's so many good shows. Like, you know, it's just the classic stuff that I grew up later. Yeah, I really enjoy watching shows, watching shorter seasons. I love True Detective, you know, that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I watch. I used to watch a lot of HBO. Even like in the recent years, I've always had HBO in some sort of a package deal, some sort of a streaming package. And only recently I lost access to it. Like they have removed it from the package, from the streaming. And I was really mad. Like I was really angry. Like they have raised the price to $50 now, have removed HBO due to the situation with the sale of Warner Brothers, you know. But still, the price has gone up. They have like halved the library that I had, taking away HBO, and now you can't record anymore. So yeah, I really miss HBO. I hope that they can save the company, because it's like, just if you look at the stuff that they produced over the years, some really good quality shows. It's a shame that they are not doing well. I hope things will get better for them again. Okay, so a little bit more pumice. I think this is just not enough. I really want to have everything roughly covered. Okay. I'm spraying the pumice a little bit. I don't want to have dust. Dust is also, for one, you don't want to inhale it, and it's also sticking to the seedlings. It's sticking to the seedlings, and that makes the soil so firm. Like sometimes when pumice is like glue. It can stick together like glue, and that usually happens when there's too much dust from the pumice in the bag. I usually try to have clean pumice and just the pumice. Sometimes when you buy the cheaper one, they deliver it with that is unwashed, and that can really make a big difference. It gives the soil more stability if the dust is in there, but it's also taking away that good drainage that pumice. Why pumice is so useful for cactus growing. So that's why I usually try to spray it. Yeah, we had a great time growing up. In the last couple months, I really started thinking about how it is growing up today in today's media landscape, and I'm just glad that I came up before the smartphone, before social media. I feel like I've had a better childhood without social media, and if I had, if you would ask myself, young me, I would probably say that that's total, I would have loved social media when I was a kid, but today I know it would not have been good for me. Today I know that you have to have a certain mental clarity. You have to know who you are when you go on social media. You just have to be a firm character already. And a lot of kids, that's just not happening, when I was a teenager, I was really slow, So if I had been living in today's world, I would have had a hard time, There's so many people that try to influence the younger people, like the kids and all, because they are so impressionable. And I feel like you need to have a certain maturity to really use the social media. And that's the one thing that I believe will happen in the future. I believe that they will go harder. They will make sure that the kids can grow up without being negatively influenced the way they are now. I think that will change in the next 20 years or so. Just giving them time to actually develop their character, and then later they can then decide to use the internet, I grew up with the internet in a way where it was a little bit more positive than what it is today. Today it is very easy to go on the wrong path just because you read something that isn't even true, people write everything. And that makes it so difficult when you're a young kid. You don't have that knowledge about the world to know what it is, you have two people that tell you something. How do you know who's right? And the older you get, you know who's right. You have seen the world for a while. You have learned. You know how people are. You know how the world works, but only after a certain point. So that's my prediction for the future. I think they will kind of reduce the influence of social media on the young ones, and I hope that will happen. It's not healthy the way it is right now. Yeah, I really like that too. Okay. So these here, you can barely see the seedlings, but they are there. We just have to make sure that now that the seedlings are so low, we don't forget to water them. When you don't, because you forget to care for what you do not see. So we really have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, take care. I'm still here for maybe 15 minutes or so. Okay, so these I want to water, and then a little bit of pumice again. So watering. Okay. In this container, there are not so many seedlings, and that will be how it is in the future. Like the general thing, more often than not, we will have fewer seedlings in the containers. I'm quite displeased with how many seedlings I have in some of the containers. Just sown too many. And that will change in the future. I'm not doing that anymore. I don't have time for that. Like, we will keep 10, 20 seedlings at the most. Okay, and that gives me the necessary space to have a bigger diversity. I'd rather have 100 different crosses and just 5 or so of each. Okay. I hear the pumice rolling around already. So I want to spray that. I want to have the pumice move into place where it belongs. Eventually, this will wash into like all around the seedlings. This will be great. I will try to correct a little bit just to have the seedlings, to give the seedlings a little advantage here. Trying to influence that where I can. Like when I see that here's a seedling that isn't straight, then I pick it up, move a little bit of the pumice around it to give it stability. That's what that is great for too. Just giving the seedling stability, keeping them away from the soil. And any pest that wants to get to them needs to make it through that pumice. And some of them will just give up. Okay. Okay. Not totally bad. So yeah, this is okay. I'm happy with that. We will see how it goes, okay? I will observe the seedlings that we have added the top layer to. I don't want to have it on all. Yeah, but this looks okay. I have a few containers here to the left of me. I also want to do it with these because these have stood out where I felt like, okay, these, I don't like how they look in the soil. They might need more drainage than this particular soil can offer them. And so we will do it with them too. By the way, here's the watermelon. I have that over here. I hope I can get to that because I wanted to have a look. It hasn't really opened the leaves yet, you know, like that little cotyledon thing that when they open up, it's still firm together. I want to have a look at that. Okay. Yeah, and just pushing seedlings into the soil here. Here's one that I want to take out. This looks just bad. Okay, here's a seedling that had a very thin base and a long root. So I will try to get that root deep into the soil. Sometimes when you have a seedling with a long root, you have to create enough space for that. Like the hole needs to be big enough for that big root. Now it's much better in the soil. Here's one that I can lift up a little bit. Here's one that's too close to the soil. I really try to lift them up before I put the pumice in because I do not want to have the pumice on top of a leaning seedling. Yeah. It's good that we're putting in a little bit of pumice. I'm sure they will look better for it. They will look better when we're doing that. Okay. Okay, this is enough. Doesn't have to be so much. This is okay. I want to water a little bit again. Yeah, I'm not happy with social media, to be honest, and I'm also happy. I don't hold back right now. I've been having like my whole thing, my online presence kind of started on Facebook, Insta, like Facebook groups, Cactus groups, and that kind of stuff. And I'm I see a lot of potential in social media to bring people closer together. You can have conversations with people everywhere in the world. I'm friends with people in Peru, and we can stay in touch on a regular basis. We see what is happening in each other's lives, and I appreciate that. So social media could be good, could be used for good, and right now they actively decide to not use it for that, and that's what I'm disappointed in. They could really change the way they do that. A large part of my online experience right now on social media is just reading hate, where people are arguing, where the comment sections are toxic. They have kind of allowed that kind of a climate of toxicity to infiltrate social media, and that's what I criticize about it. I'm not against the idea. I just hate how they are doing it. So yeah, I believe that it can't be in the best interest. Like, the social media can't actively work at making society worse, and they need to get that in their head. I really believe that they could change course. They could say, okay, we have made some mistakes. Going forward, we will try to be better. That's what I would hope to see. And the fact that I'm not seeing it makes me quite disappointed in that whole thing. A lot of the problems that we have today are just because it has become a business to make people angry. They have monetized that anger that people have. Like, when people try to, when they get obsessed with a subject, they watch they watch a post where people argue, they watch a comment section, and they just kind of continuously amp that up. They continuously increase all the triggers that they are doing. Like, they could run social media in a completely different way, in an entirely positive way, where they are promoting positive values like nature, plants, gardening, art, real art. That's what the kind of stuff that they could actually, they could be great for people, like for businesses. And today it has become more and more difficult to use social media for your business. Like, you can't even put a link to your website in, otherwise it will be shown to nobody, with the way the algorithms work, that kind of stuff. They really need to do better, really. Okay. Yeah, so now this is pretty okay. Let me just move a little bit of the pumice around, back and forth a little bit. Just really trying to avoid that there are certain seedlings that are covered. Okay. Yeah, this looks good. I like it. I like this pumice thing. I had recently just had, like, where I had one container where we did it in one of the live streams. I don't recall when we did it, but we spread the pumice around, and the seedlings look great. Really long term, they look great. And yeah, so we're doing more of that. I feel like this could completely disrupt the fungus gnat situation. Yeah, I also appreciated that I grew up in nature. I was also still a generation that was still outside. And when we were outside, when we were playing outside, you were alone. That can be bad, like when something happens, but in many cases it was also good, because it kind of, you learn to to be responsible for yourself, you know, to not be, I don't know, not be dumb about it, you know. And yeah, I kind of miss that. It's today, there's everything, everyone knows where everyone is all the time. I don't think that's a healthy way to go into the future. I don't think so. Like knowing history, I don't see that as a good thing. So I hope that in the future we will calm down a little with that, with all that technology everywhere. It's really what I want to stand for, like with my whole thing. There's so much beauty in this world, you know. Okay, so the seedlings here I repotted recently. So I'm just watering now. Then I will move the seedlings into the soil, and then we will put a little bit of pumice on top of the soil. Just a little bit. Yeah, it's incredibly difficult not to use social media. Like if you have a business, for example, or if you are a creator like me, it is really hard to not be present there, you know. But they make it so hard to actually succeed. They want to earn money with advertising, so they try to not give a lot of organic reach to people. And that makes it, at some point, it's not worth it anymore to put really that effort into it. Like there was a time when you could really say, okay, I can rely, I trust this network enough that I build an existence on it, you know, like a business existence. A lot of shop owners come up with Facebook, Instagram, where they start presenting themselves to their customers, to people, and then it evolves into a business, and they make that harder and harder. And in my opinion, that takes away one of the big strengths of social media, that you can really, that it allows everyone to be successful if they are just good, you know, like good quality should always succeed in the algorithm. That is what I believe. If something is a good kind of video, good creator with good stuff, it should succeed. And that's not the case anymore. And that's what really I don't like, because I know that this will lead to the wrong kind of content being dominant, and it influences society in a negative way. So I hope they will course correct. It's all what I can say. I'm just a little creator. I try to have positive content. Yeah, but at this point, like the type of stuff that they are always showing first, that's a decision. And I hope that in the future they will kind of let quality of the actual stuff really be a big factor again. It should matter more than they are currently assigning, you know, how they are currently calculating the first results that come up when someone searches something, you know. Okay, so I will bring these seedlings here that are out of the soil, I will bring these into the soil again. Here's a seedling that needs to be lifted up. This one here. So I need to take these apart. I think here are two seedlings that are too much in each other's kind of range. So I'm trying to pot that one a little deeper here. And this is a crooked seedling, and that makes it so difficult to really have them in the soil. This one here too. So let me try to get it in a straight way. Little bit of pressure to the tip, and carefully pushing down, but not breaking it. Yeah, like the things how they were in the past, it had a lot of, you know, it also had a lot of negatives. Like when something happened, you couldn't reach someone. I appreciate that today you can call someone if you need it. Like a lot of the things that happened, accidents in the past, might have been prevented if they had access to a smartphone like today, you know. But it also had something good. to just be out and discover the world, not be constantly reminded about what's happening on the internet. That was a good thing. So today when they are really under surveillance 24/7, either by by the parents, It's just and again, there's a lot of good that comes from that too. I just say we lost a little bit of that kind of childhood like wonder where you just explore the world, where you just play in nature and you discover what's going on out there. And a lot of the younger generations today, they are a little bit detached from that. And it doesn't mean that it always stays like that. I believe that things will change again. The current time will lead to positive change. People will get back to nature. People will discover the old kind of values again. I know it. It will happen. So yeah, we are living in a certain age, like the social media age, and I'm sure that in the next 10, 20 years, things will a lot of change will come from what we are going through right now. And that's good. That's really, I hope for that, because if it doesn't happen, then we have a problem. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I had the luck when I grew up in the 80s. There wasn't really that, like, it was a good time. Financially was going a little better when I was younger, and also it wasn't a time where there was major conflicts like the generations before, like the really big kind of conflict that always throws the world in chaos. It was a calmer time, so you could really, yeah, things have changed. Okay, but I'm not one of the people who believes back then everything was better. I love all that kind of vintage stuff. I love vintage clothes, because the quality was great. I love the kind of vintage pop art and toys that we had at the time, but not everything was better. I remember so many things back then that weren't great. But the older I get, the more I notice how much of the world has changed all around me. Some of the places where I played when I was a child, they are no longer there. They have built supermarkets there, or they have built houses there. And that kind of stood out to me. I was a little disappointed to see that, how much of the natural land that they have removed. But I guess that's just part of growing up, just seeing that, the places that you grew up with, they are disappearing too. Okay. So I want to spread that pumice out a little bit more here. Still waiting for the water to sink in. Yeah, but with the pumice here, this is okay. It gives the seedlings a little bit of stability. And also keeps them away from the soil. Having pumice pressed against the soil, it's a totally different thing than this very organic kind of soil, Pumice can store water and make it available. Actually store it for a while. That is also good. So, yeah. This is going to improve the health of the seedlings, I'm sure. Okay. Here's a container where I wanted to do something similar. Just spraying, putting out a little bit of pumice. I also have a chili that I haven't sprayed yet, and I wanted to repot one. I'm not sure when I'm if we're getting it all in today. If not, that will be tomorrow. I actually, like where I grew up in Europe, they didn't have these 24-hour supermarkets. Like that was, they had strict laws about holiday, Sunday. They weren't even allowed to open on Sundays. They still aren't, I believe. There are a few exceptions, but Germany in particular, they have strict laws against people working on like too much, you know, on Sundays in particular, but also they have given them, like the shops and the supermarkets, they had firm opening hours. I still remember when it was like 6 p.m. and later they kind of added up to 8 p.m. But I think we do not have these classic 24-hour supermarkets here. At least not in a lot of Europe. And on one hand, it's good, you know, it's a protection against people working too much. But it's also meaning you can't really, if you need something in the middle of the night, you can't really get it sometimes. So, okay, these here, I would just move the seedlings a little bit deeper into the soil that are a little bit loose. And I will really wiggle around on them. I want to see what the problem is, you know? What's your problem, seedling? And then I try to push it a little into the soil. Okay. The root looks okay. This one here doesn't look good. This is very dehydrated. Doesn't seem to have a root. I will leave it there, but this is not a good sign. Let me put it off, and later I will put it on top of the pumice. Pumice might be a little bit more safe compared to the classic soil. Cleaning up the soil a little bit, just removing stuff from the top layer here. Okay. A little bit of wood, pieces of wood and that kind of stuff I take out. So I will water again, and then I will add the top layer of pumice. And I really hope that now that we are adding a little bit of pumice, people will not start to use these excessive topping layers. Don't waste time with it. A topping layer can be great, like in the beginning, like here, but it also takes away visibility. Visibility is sometimes good. Yeah, like we have something similar, like it's just not, they have these kind of walk-through areas where people sometimes sleep. Yeah, but it's a little bit more difficult in Europe. Like, it's increasingly difficult for homeless people to find a place to sleep. Everything, you know, the way they are doing the architecture, the places where you can sit, you can't really sleep and all that. Yeah, and I mean, it's a difficult subject because people, there are certain areas that have really gotten downhill. The way they, like, the more people, you know, are literally camping there. There were definitely situations where there were conflicts, major conflicts between the people that lived there, you know. So I kind of understand why they are doing it, but it just from the point of view that it's a sad thing to see if you have no place to sleep. But that's why also in Europe, some of the European countries, you can really, they pay you a place to sleep. You know, there are these, like, they have a good social security set, like a net that catches you before you fall. But you have to be like, you have to really go through a lot of bureaucracy to kind of get that done until they pay you out. So it's not so easy sometimes, you know. It's a difficult subject. Generally speaking, people have access. They could just go to the local kind of, I think they call it Grundsicherung, something like that. You know, you could just apply for help, and they would pay them a place to sleep, a basic kind of life, but they would pay for that. Very good social security kind of system. Not perfect, definitely not perfect, but it's okay. Feel like that's the kind of stuff that taxes need to be paid for, need to be used for. Like just making sure that people are not incredibly poor. Because that leads again, like you can look in history at all the times when people were incredibly poor. It just produced difficult times, like all the hardships, that the hard periods. A lot of things that they have in common is poverty related. So I just believe that sometimes you have to make sure that society as a whole stays happy, can live together. And yeah, but there's constantly, right now, there's so many problems. You have to talk with each other. I just hope that politics will kind of, right now they're doing a lot of populism. Not a lot of problems are solved right now. I hope things get better again. Okay, so I would spray these here, just watering a little bit. Then I will move the seedlings into the soil, and then I will cover everything with pumice again. Okay. The seedlings here look good, look okay. Just got to make sure that the roots stay intact. Here are two small ones that I want to correct. Okay. So, okay, this is good. And this leaves a little space where we can just put the pumice around everywhere. I hate using pumice again, but it's a good mineral. In this case, a little bit of it will be okay. And later, I might patch a few more holes like in the pumice, trying to distribute it evenly. And when I'm watering now, I hope that a lot of it will fall into place. Okay. Yeah, this is good. I like this. This looks interesting. You have the, I just wait for the water to sink in that I can turn it so you can see it. But it's looking good. I'm already pretty happy. The seedlings are really removed from the soil. Trying to spread it a little bit more evenly all around the seedlings, trying to use it to keep the seedlings a little bit up. But that's good. I'm pretty happy with this. Okay. Maybe one or two more, a little bit more here and there. This side here needs a few, and this also needs a few. I want to remove access to the soil. Okay. So this will go back under the lamp. And these here, I have repotted these. They need water. Every time I'm repotting, within the first 2 weeks, they just need a little bit of extra care. Being brought back up on the roots. I want to water them now. That makes the soil usable. And when that has happened, we will push 1 or 2 a little bit deeper in the soil, and then we add a little bit of pumice, and that's it. Generally, I really like how they look, like they have a healthy look to them. They are not all of them are perfectly developed. Some of them are a little reddish, but in general, this is a relatively healthy body. Here's one that I want to take out though. This is not good. This is expired seedling. Sometimes you really need to look in between the seedlings that there's not something like a remnant of a previous seedling that expired that you didn't even notice that was there. Okay. It's a lot easier to apply pumice when it's dry. Then it just falls into the cracks where you need it. Okay, so I will water it, and that will push the soil a little bit deeper. Take care, mate. Hope you have a nice day. I'm almost done now too. I'm already over time, but I just really wanted to cover a few of the seedling containers. This is just good for the seedlings. But I'm almost at the end. So happy to take more questions if you like. If not, I'm already preparing to water the remaining plants that I didn't get to water today, like in detail. I usually have a lot of stuff here, and they need to be watered every day too. What we have here is usually a little bit too much. Then you can water in the time. So I'm always trying to do it on the live stream. It saves me a lot of time that I would then have to spend another hour later. Okay, so here's the result, and I really like that result. I really like that the pumice is kind of taking away access to the soil. Little nasty gnats, fungus gnats, can't really get to them. Here's a situation where I wanted to do the same. I saw that these seedlings do not look so good. So for now, I would just spread a little bit of the pumice around them. Okay. We'll check it out. This is just how I placed it on top of the soil, and now I want to water it. Want to push the little pumice down everywhere in between the seedlings. Pumice is so light that it swims everywhere where it fits. It sits where it fits. And yeah, when we're done here, this will look great. Yeah, and overall, I can only tell you that I've been watering more in the last 2 days. Really watering more. Seen a few seedlings dehydrate pretty fast within just a few hours, and then I decided, okay, they will get twice as much water now for a few days. And because that kind of increases the likelihood that fungus gnats can come back a little, we are doing this now. I have a ventilator that keeps them from flying to the soil. On oscillation, Yeah, and that takes away their ability to fly in between the pots sometimes. In combination with the pumice now, I think we will be done with them. Okay. Done like the seedling that I just took out. But yeah, this is the end result here. This will go to the lamp. I feel like this looks clean. This looks clean. This is okay. Then I wanted to have a look at these. The same here. Wanted to have a closer look at the seedlings. Feel like this looks dirty. So gotta clean up a little, take out one or two of the seedlings that just don't look healthy. Yeah, no. Really just want to keep the healthy ones here. Because the more weak seedlings you have in that soil, the more it can actually contaminate. Be contaminated. Okay. A little bit of pumice all around, and then this can also go back. Okay. Yeah, this is far from good, but it's acceptable. So I would just spray these a little, trying to water blast the pumice where I want it to be a little bit. And now I wait until the water has settled, and then I move the seedlings in, and that's it. Then they should be done for today. I want to water them again tomorrow. Okay. This here, the seedlings aren't so tall, so I now try to really get them up a little bit. Lift them a little higher here. Always dangerous when the seedling is already surrounded by stuff, you know? That takes away the oxygen that would usually be around the seedling, preventing too much humidity to collect there. Okay, good. So this goes away. And now I will water the rest that I have. I have a lot of seedlings here that I want to water now, and then we're done. So just giving them a little bit of the daily watering. The other seedlings, like with the pumice, we will probably continue doing that. I will keep an eye out for too much pumice in the workplace. I don't want to have it everywhere. If it should be a problem, then yeah, then that would be bad, because then we would have to stop using it. I don't want to have too much pumice everywhere. Good. So I would spray the remaining seedlings, and then I will probably end the live stream. So already want to say thank you everyone for having been part of this again today. Really enjoy doing the live stream. Always allows me to go into new directions. I rarely get to do all the stuff that I want to do, that I have planned for that day, but that's okay. There's always a next day that allows us to, to take it slow, one day at a time. And tomorrow I will probably repot this chili. I want to start bringing the chilies into the big pots now. Yeah, and we have to repot this here. This needs to go into new soil, into a bigger pot. Second pumpkin. And I see it really critical. I'm not sure if we have space for that. We will see how big of a plant this is going to get. But it's here. We have 2 pumpkins now. And we will repot them next time. So yeah, thank you guys for having been here today. I greatly appreciate it. We are just about to start with the outdoor streaming from the garden. And yeah, just wanted to let you know, during the next week we will definitely start outside. I want to clear the set, want to start weeding out the set, and that will be one of the first outside live streams that I'm doing this week. And yeah, and then more will follow. The whole year, lots of cactus flowering going on now. So it's going to be a great season. Okay, guys, thank you for having been here. So I will be back again tomorrow. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. I wish you a great Sunday today. Hope you have kind of managed to deal with the time change and all that. Have a nice Sunday, everyone. Thank you.